Welcome back to this episode of Gareth Davis Training. We're over in Chesterfield today in Casa Hotel, and we've got a very special guest who I admire a lot, a local lad as well. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Danny Welch, known Gaz from footballing through many moons ago. Did a bit of work together actually, historically, and yeah, pleasure to be on the podcast, mate.
No problems. Right, first questions, Danny. Are you ready?
Go for it, buddy.
So, Danny, when football ended for you earlier than expected, what did that actually feel like at the time for you?
Obviously, at the time, we were a young kid, Gaz. So I think you grow up in this bubble that you're going to make it, you're going to be the next big thing. You're probably a little bit more arrogant than you should be. And for me, when I look back now, historically, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have achieved what I've achieved today if I'd have gone down the football path. I'd have just been a, journeyman type. I'd have never had the success that I'd have had now.
Yeah.
Biggest thing it did for me, rejection's hard, isn't it? Whatever walk of life you're in, if you get rejected, it's a tough gig. You can either bounce from it or you can sit and sulk. And I didn't like that feeling. So I'm going to go in to do something. I still played the football, but I found my level. But I then went into business, I was resilient and I was happy to sit outside my comfort zone and push myself. And I think if I'd have not had that rejection, I'd probably never done that.
Yeah.
I'd have just been a 9-to-5er.
And the amount of people that sit here and say, well, you've got that arrogance, you've got that thing, but you've got to have it, haven't you? You've got it, it's almost a confidence and to drive yourself forward, isn't it? It's you've got to have that confidence.
I think so. Sometimes I sit back and look and I have a giggle to my son with my son now who plays and go, my arrogance didn't quite match the level of ability to be fair, but it did hold me well because you had that rejection, where you'd gone from Sheffield United and you go, yeah, brilliant, I'm in a big club, get rejected, then drop down to town and you go in, I thought I should still be up there. But actually, I were on a downward path and I was going to continue on that, to be fair, because I found my level. Look, I still played to a good standard, semi-pro sort of thing, but I found my level, but it did good for me in a business sense because it was kind of like, how to talk to people, the dressing room banter makes you thick-skinned. If you're not thick-skinned, it weeds you out, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
just, from a young age going to playing semi-pro at like 19-year-old, you win men, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it grows you up. Whereas you see some of these scholars that go in and they just play scholarship football, it's not real football, is it? It's not real men, and they don't get the credentials that come along with being around with men and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's where I learnt my pedigree. I was a scholar at Chesterfield and I went out to Matlock, and it was the best thing I ever did. It learnt me to be, as you say, a man and hold myself and play in the right areas and realise how important it was to win games and lose games from a different perspective in money, costs, jobs on the line, people working and thinking, oh, actually, and with gratitude, go, I could do this for a full-time living. I don't have to go off and do plumbing or getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, driving, doing a trade and then finishing and then going straight to football, thinking, oh, I needed that, and I highly recommend that to players to do that, yeah.
I think I was also fortunate, obviously. My old man played 10 years in the game, and I probably learned through his experiences, bless him, where he would go in. He had 10 years, played like West Brom, Burnley, Chesterfield, played under some good managers that did it. And he was like, I come out on it, Danny, and I had to go back down pit. So I don't want you to fall into that trap where you play at that level, you have a career and then go, what now?
Yeah.
So I think he was brilliant at giving me that resilience to go, no, you've got to keep pushing yourself, go and do well at school, go and do this, go and do that, because football can be short-lived. Even if you're very good and you get an injury, you're done.
You're very lucky that you got him at the side of you for that advice. And
big time, mate.
Yeah,
I owe my dad a lot for that, mate, to be honest. And I look back now and I always giggle about it, because he was like, just make sure you do well at school. And I sit there going, were you telling me how shit or what? Just make sure you do well at school. But you were right. To be, when you look back, and I think you do sit back and reflect, guys, don't you? You sit there and go, I owe him a lot, because reality on it is I wouldn't be where I am today. Look, there's a lot of you don't want to pass the buck and go, oh, he got me there or that got me there. You've got to do it yourself. But actually, he set me on a path that I go, yeah, fair play.
Just kept lining you up.
That. Yeah, correct.
Brilliant. Look, you've been very successful in business. And congratulations on your last sell. I know we can't go into too much detail on that, but I would love to pick your brains on a few things. What did you get wrong in your first move into business that you now understand? Pinging up to mind, which one?
I think that's tough, because I think you learn by your experiences, don't you? And if you don't go into something, what you don't know, you don't know. I think that's the first thing I'd say. But conversation we were having before the camera started rolling, any work were good work at the first, and I'd take anything that had come along just to go, I'm growing, I need to go, I want to get this, We ended up taking too much work for one client. My client then went into administration, hurt us, we bounced back. But I'd say to anybody, don't get suckered by one client that keeps giving you work. And then I think it's getting good people around you. Fortunate, I had a couple of shareholders in the last business, all very different people, but we were all very driven and got ourselves on, and the success was not down to one person, but down to the three of us. And I think get good people around you and good things can happen.
Did you all say if you had a certain weakness, your other shareholder come in who had that key strength, and it all just like jigsawed into place, did you find?
Yeah, definitely. We had some that were more, dare I say, entrepreneurial. We had some that were very, good with people, others that could sniff a deal, others that had good relationships, and the blend worked. And I think I'd find it hard if I went into business and I just went in on my own, because there's nothing better. Problem shared is a problem halved, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you were doing it on your own, some nights you'd sit there and I think you blow your own head up, and you don't. I think as I got older within my business journey, I knew when to take a step back and go, I'm going to think about this, rather than everything, because I used to shoot from the hip. When I was younger, you can't be like that.
Yeah.
If you definitely want to grow and become successful. And some people might not want to. They might just want to go, I want this business. It's a lifestyle business. I want it there. I didn't. I always wanted to grow, and I wanted people around.
Right. If football hadn't been taken away from you, do you think you would have built what you've got today? I know we've kind of touched on it.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, I think I sit here and go, football made me and wanted me to be driven to succeed. If I'd have not been in them football circles, whether I got rejected or not, I don't think I would have done. I mean, I remember at the time of being sort of 18 years, I applied to go to AGD, and I was quite happy to just go, I'm going to do 9 till 5, and it's a decent wage. I know it'll not get any better, but it'll not get any worse.
That was the place to work in Chesterfield, then, wasn't it?
Just years and years ago, and I did. Ironically, I failed the English part of the assessment, but so I didn't get on, and then I got into my journey, mate. Whereas finished football, I knew I wanted to go and do A-levels and get an education based upon what my dad said, but I didn't want to get in debt. And I just remember seeing paper and seeing an advert for a trainee estimator on Whitmore, and I was like, I'm going to go with that because they're going to pay for me to go to uni. And that's how I got into what I'm doing. I didn't think about it. I didn't go, I want to be that. I just applied for it on that grounds. I didn't want to get in debt with uni.
Yeah. And this is why I try and speak to people in doing this, is because it mirrors so much, not just football, but sport, doesn't it? The behaviours, the characteristics you learn, the mannerisms. I don't think people coming out of sport, they've got this mentality of going, I'm behind, I am thinking. But yeah, they are in a certain way. You've not done university, etc., and college, but the skills you've got, you know how to struggle,
Suffer.
You know how to suffer. You've had rejection, you've had failure, you've lost, you've won. And transferring them skills over, I think you are kind of in front because you've suffered a lot, haven't you, on the sports side?
Well, I was fine with sport. Someone's always got an opinion. We could sit here and go, we played with this guy. I thought he was good, and you'd go, I didn't rate him. It's so opinionated, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's where I've used it a couple of times. Thick-skinned, resilience. You have to do. Because if you didn't, you'd sit there, you'd be a shrinking violet going, oh God, he said I was crap. Whereas now, someone will say, I don't like me. Like, oh yeah, Danny is not my cup of tea. Great. Move on, don't you?
Yeah.
You can't take everything personal. And I think that for me, sport does that for you. Everybody's got an opinion on it.
Yeah. Well, that's on to my next question as well, which is good. You've built and successfully sold a business. So again, congratulations.
Cheers.
I'm chuffed for you. What did that experience teach you that most people wouldn't see?
So I think the sale process itself, guys, wow, so draining. I come back to this arrogance and believing in your own ability. I remember going, I'll take on the commercials. And I remember turning up on day one, and it was me on my own, jumped into this team call. They had 13, 14 advisors. And do you know what I mean? It's all of a sudden that confidence does sort of wane a little bit. But
I can't wing this.
Yeah. I think it's like we were saying earlier as well. Because that business was ours and we lived, we've done it from my dining room table to being 125 people across. So we had sort of offices in Chesterfield, Buckingham and London. But you built it from nothing up to that. You know it. You've lived it. You breathe it.
It is your baby.
It's on, and you're still cradling it. And I think sometimes I used to find it within the business that if somebody had say if somebody had gone out and done a bit of work and it probably wasn't a star and it had slipped a bit, I used to take that personal, but not with the client, with the individual doing it, and be like, come on, you're representing us. But I think not taking things personal, but coming back to that due diligence, I never, and hence why I've gone into what I've gone into, I didn't appreciate, it's not you put a for sale sign up on the door and that's it, people come and look, they interrogate, they want to know everything. What did you do in this transaction? What did you do in that transaction? And where we were saying before, we didn't sit and do a business plan as such, we just went day by day, be successful. If we're better today, then tomorrow we'll be good. Keep building.
And this is when we had the breakfast, and I love that honesty about you, and thank you for sharing it, because some people can be a bit holding it in, and I think it's so good for people to understand whether you're a start-up, currently in business, you can make them small changes, can't you, to thinking, which led you to your new venture.
Yes.
Now, do you want to expand on which led to this, and this is what I thought, you've got to get
absolutely.
them on.
So me and Colin, which was one of the shareholders of the business that we sold, we were heavily involved in due diligence, and we were just like, look, this is quite draining, this, in terms of emotionally. I think that's the biggest thing. It weren't what they were asking, it was just the fact that it's your baby, and I'm going to get this outcome over here that will be life-changing, but it weren't in place. And I've had somebody who could have held my hand and gone, you concentrate on the business, we'll tell you all the things that you're going to be missing, the gaps, what I set up, and how it would make the transaction easier. Our sale took about 15 months in reality, from doing a bit of a beauty parade for the network on who was going to help us do it to actually selling. I think that could have probably been reduced to about 6 months if we'd have had everything in place. So we were like, look, we need to get a business in that can come and advise and help people and say, bit of a non-exec role, but we'll come and work and help you get to that stage where you go, if I am ready, it'll be a simple process for me, because you're giving away your crown jewels, aren't you? Going, this is my exit, and set yourself up right so it's ready to do so.
And I've been through that process, and it's very intrusive. It's if you're emotional and sensitive like me, I'm thinking,
why are you asking?
You're deep diving into my baby here. But you can get it. If you was buying a company, you'd want to understand all that with a fine comb going through every little thing, wouldn't you? And and it's tidal blue.
Tidal blue, that's it, And I think it's that forensic side of it. They do want to go through everything, and there's certain things that you go, why are you asking that? But when you sit on the other side and go, well, I'm a buyer, you'd want to know what's and all, wouldn't you? And I think as well, you want to kind of lay it all out on the table, because it's going to help you within your sales and purchase agreement, and going, well, these are the qualifications, and you can't come back to us on these because we've told you everything.
Yeah.
And it's so key to setting all that up.
And I thought it's great to get you on today, because it instantly took me back to an emotion with my first company, and we sat down with someone, and it's something I wish I had done. If I knew now, to hindsight, I'd always have an external advisor with me now if I was going back into something as big as that, and just getting that mediator going. Have you thought about this, Gareth?
Perspective, innit?
Yeah, and understanding. And what my point is, I was going to, we sat down and went, what's your exit interview? And I'm like, I have no plan of an exit. I'm planning on making this the best business, biggest business, and bringing great people and everything in it. Okay, but what's your exit interview? And I was naive and too green to go, no, and kind of parted it off. But like you say, if you have that exit plan, I think it's because you say it as an exit plan, but if you get someone like yourself in with that experience and putting them into place, you are ready for it. And your processes go better as well. You probably find when you were doing that, actually, if we've probably implemented that in there, it might have identified certain things we could have strengthened or improved on, or shortened the time distance on.
100%, mate. And I think any owner type business that's probably run for a lifestyle of them owners, not as a true business, I think we'd all be in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think our biggest task as Tidal Blue is getting speak to anybody who's done the exit, like us. They'd have gone, I wish I'd had an advisor. You know, if somebody had a pitched to me as the owner of the business I sold and said, I'll come in and help you do that, I'd have gone, you are?
Yeah.
Nobody knows our business better than us. I don't need you. So that is the challenge that we've got, letting people embrace it before they want to exit, because you kind of letting somebody come in and open the hood and have a look.
And I think getting a company in like Tidal Blue is something serious that people have got to think about in this day and age. Everything's so reactive now. Like Colette's just shared, she's into a 15-year. And I think once people say that, I appreciate the 50. I think, oh,
well done.
15 years. Like, it's unheard of kind of now, isn't it? Like companies going that duration of time. So thinking you're great for the viewers to go to speak to, set up with, because having that, some people, I think more, it's almost like you see a lot on social media. It's have a 2-year, 3-year plan, sell. That's how you're making your money in this modern world as it is. So
don't see it as a negative.
Yeah.
I think you have to be realistic and go, you know, we were all at an age where we were fairly young, fit, healthy. Come on, let's go and do it. Let's go and build an empire, if you like. Something could have happened at any given point and gone, somebody could have had an health scare. And you sit there and go, wow, that's just took us off course now. Because we want to make sure that that guy who's our business partner running it is looked after and his family, because it's not just about us. There's a wider emotional point to it, isn't there? So it was cases of going in and setting stuff up like that. Have you got your insurances? Have you got your key man? Because if you don't know about it and you're going, well, I'm fit and healthy today, I just want to drive and do really well, you have to think about that what ifs.
You've hit the nail on the head, mate. It's not a negative. It's this awareness, isn't it? Like if we get this awareness out, great. And you might not be able to afford the insurance for the first part, but let's put a plan in place to go, all right, let's have that in our goal to hit that, and then little steps.
Especially when there's multiple shareholders, because we're all on the same page that we wanted success and growth and that. But actually, we never really once sat down and went, well, when's your time up? When's your time up? Do you know what I mean? Because somebody could have been going, well, I want to run this for another 10 years. And someone goes, 10 years? I'm done in 6 months. You need to align. If it's your sole business and it's just you, it's your decision to make on its own, whether you want to pass it down to family, exit it, to then give whatever. When there's multiple on you, you've got to make sure you're all on the same page. And unfortunately, we were. You know, we had his ups and downs between us all, but in reality we were, because we'd lived the success together as well. And, you know, I have a lot to thank the other 2 shareholders for at the time, because we did it together, you know, we were as good as each other.
And you've made it successfully to the end with each other, which is so good and something you don't see. But that communication is so key between you all. And appreciating everyone's life's going to be different. You want to go on for another 10 years. And I want you with me for another 10 years, because, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got to be on the same page. Because say if we didn't do the exit that we did, I was sat there going, I don't know if I have got another 10 years in me, guys. I'm just being brutally honest, and I didn't want to go into it going, it's half-hearted. Sell at the top of the mountain, not on the way down. And I think you have to be honest with that. And sometimes, I'd say to any business owner, don't be frightened to put your emotions out there and say where you're at. Because, like, for me, I knew what I thought success looked like, but actually, over 10, 15 years, it changed.
Yeah.
You know, because you have kids, your emotions change, you're growing older, your parents change, your friend, and you think, no, do you know what? I am at a different place, but it's having that unified approach to go, look, this is where I think we are, and don't be frightened to have them conversations. Never rosy, guys. You know, we've had as confrontations and as arguments and stuff, but I always say to people as well, that's why we were so successful. We could have a blow up. And you know, if we blew up and you'd be going, call him every name under the sun, we'd go away. But an hour later, you're phoning up and going, yeah, it were right. I've thought about it. Let's do this.
And you're a strong enough character to go, with your sport background, it's, say if we played against each other, you know, we'd cross that white line, you'd boot me all over or vice versa, and then after go,
let's go have a drink.
Yeah,
100%.
And it's forgotten, isn't
100%.
it? No, super. What's different about building a business the second time around? Are you enjoying it more? Do you feel more relaxed? You seem more relaxed?
Yeah, 100%.
The hair's grown?
Yeah, 100%. I'm good.
Coolest hair in business?
Pearlo,
jealous because I can't grow mine like that.
I keep saying to everyone, it's
my wife says it's got to come off. It's got to come off. It's just. Please.
You're not wrong. Second time round is different, actually. I think you have a lot more clarity. I don't think you have the financial pressure.
Yeah.
Because you've done an exit, whereas before the pressure is driven because you want a lifestyle and you want the nice things that come with it. But I think probably this answers one of the other questions, guys, just going back on it. I think one of the key things is to stay really humble, because no matter how well you're doing, this life has a way of people wanting to shoot you down if you do well. Whereas if you stay humble and a little bit under the radar and a bit reserved, I think that can stand you in really good stead.
Yeah.
You know, it's be careful who you tell and what you tell, but if you can just be a bit like subdued in what you do, I think people will have more respect from you, because if the minute you start loading it up and you're doing this and you're there to be shot at, aren't you?
I had it's funny you should say that. I can remember a guy from Old Brampton who used to live in, very successful man, he's in the hundreds of millions, and he says, when I sold my business, when I had a coffee with him and everything in the chat, he went, Gareth, remember one thing, success doesn't make your penis any bigger. I've said it professionally like that, I apologise. But he's right, isn't it? Stay humble. You're not. This is what it is.
And you know, guys, I look at like for us when we were growing up. I'm not ashamed to say it. Like working class families, my mum and dad would do anything for me at the time, and that, you know, that I don't want everything to be a silver spoon for my kids. I want them to work at it, but actually, I do want them to see he's going out to work still, and he's doing this, and he's, you know, like with Lisa, she's doing this, and I think it's how you set your kids up as well, isn't it? Yeah. And I think if you can stay, I feel like I'm Arlen, but if you can stay humble, it's a good thing, mate. And I think that, you know, you resonate still with your friends. You don't think you're better than them, and you don't think you're worse than them. And I like to think that's the one bit out of everything I've got right. I'm still the same Danny that were 14 years old kicking a ball on Brayley Park. Do you know what I mean?
You are, mate.
Yeah,
you are.
Mate, yeah. Do you know what I mean? But you don't want to I've seen a lot of people do it.
Yeah, and it is difficult because when you are so busy, it's so easy to just give to the children and give and give. I've got an awkward conversation with my daughter when I get back because it's the reminder.
Yeah, it is.
And saying like little chores, well, it's like jobs. No, that's where your manners come from, sweetheart. And it's not a chore. It's your personality.
Good life lessons, mate.
Yeah, 100%. From the outside, people see success, but what pressures comes with building something at that level that people don't see?
We probably touched upon it before the cameras rolled again. Second time I said that, but you know, like when you go on holiday, you don't switch off, mate. You know, a number of times like my kids would go, why do you know, when they were really young, why do you pick your laptop on holiday, Dad?
Yeah.
So they'd all be sat chilling after coming in the front beach for an hour, and all I'm doing is craving, going, I've got an hour now to get back on laptop and catch up. It was like the fear of missing out back home. And you're going on holiday to escape that, but I was being dragged back to it all the time. You never ever switch off. You never switch off, mate. I think that was the biggest negative over the 15-year journey that I had. I never found the time to sit there and go, yeah, I can switch off here. I am going to sit and relax. I used to love Christmas. Because we were in construction, everybody switched off, and I could leave my phone and not worry about it because everybody were off. Summer holidays, everyone's still working.
Yeah, and that's something I reflect back on now a lot when, with the first company as a training provider, I was relentless because I was the commercial director, so getting the sales out, getting the things, making sure operations were in, the customer service were in, and then I had to drive forward. So it's like, and that pressure I put on myself was, these have all got families, these have all got homes, mortgages, and thinking, that's on my head. There's no course to go, right, Gareth, if you actually go on this course for 2 days, you're going to know everything where to sell and all that business is going to come in. Do you know what I mean? The holidays, I used to get anxiety, go, I shouldn't be here. Yeah, I shouldn't relax. I can relate to that so much.
I think as well, this is going to sound a double negative again, but I don't think you can criticise. That's our personalities, and that is what makes you successful. So you go in, them traits, them characteristics of what made me successful, the byproduct of that is you can never switch off.
Yeah.
And you know, Lisa, my wife, she's like, just have 5. And I'm like, but I can't. It's built in me. I can't. Even now, I can't switch off. And I'm like, I've got that burning desire again now, having had the period of time going, I really need to kick this on now because I need a purpose. I think that's the word I keep coming back to. I want that purpose. And that's the biggest bit I'm missing, the purpose of that day-to-day cut and thrust. But going back to your question, I sit back and sometimes wonder and go, did I read enough bedtime stories, you know, when they were growing up? Because I had that drive. I was actually doing it for them and Lisa and their family. Did I read enough bedtime stories? But then Lisa's really good at reminding me and going, but you did. And you did it for the right reasons.
And reassuring.
You know, I think that another question I would have, guys, and I don't know if you're going to be in the same sort of position, but I'm only as good as the people in my front door. You know, without Lisa, I'd have never made it anywhere. Yeah. The biggest support network I ever had. Outside of that, obviously I had my shareholders, the guys that from a business point of view, but Lisa would always be in that position where she could give me, I'd come home, Tasmanian devil, like something had really frustrated me. Lisa's really calm and she'd just talk to you and ask you a question and then you go,
but the right questions as well, I guess.
Always the right question. And she'd know when to ask and when to just go, I'm just going to leave him, let him go and blow his head off out there and do what he needs to do. And then when I do talk to him, and I can't underestimate that is the biggest thing out of everything that you go, yeah, it was a support network to allow me to get there. But actually, she was also that bigger than a critical friend that just go, cut through the noise and go, yeah, do you know what? I needed that, Lisa. Because in business, you can get yourself surrounded with too many yes men. As Lisa would always ask me or tell me that one thing I didn't want to hear.
Yeah.
And you need that, guys, don't you?
100%.
In life as well.
Yeah, I think behind every successful person, there's a strong supporting character at home as well. And you want that lifestyle of bringing the children up, the house, that safe place, and they're doing that 24/7 and allowing you to do what doing. No doubt you'd have supported her doing it if it was the other way around. But it's people don't see that side of it, how important it is. You can come through the door, you leave at 5 o'clock, you can come through the door at 9 o'clock, and then it's just a calm place where she's a cup of tea, sitting down, miss you, blah blah blah. It's
keeps you grounded, mate.
Priceless, isn't it?
And it'd be really interesting, like you know, your podcast where you're talking to like high performing individuals, whether it be sport or whatever. I'd love to get the other person on and go, what do you think about it? Because their perspective might be completely and utterly different.
100%, and that's one of the first questions I ask. How's things at home?
Yeah, I get it.
And you could be battling there and battling at home, and something, if you're not communicating, you just super. Have you ever had a moment where everything looked right externally but internally didn't feel aligned? I'm guessing the first one, I'm not putting things into your head, where the company went into administration.
So we had a major client that, and I think that's the only time really, and it was the hardest thing because it was right out of our control. We could have controlled it in that we didn't do as much with them, but our books were balanced at that point. But when they went into administration and there were a pre-pack done that saved it, the day that they saved it was probably the day that I sat there and thought, I want my exit. Because I can't roll another punch like that. So you have to externally facing have this. It's like, what's the saying where the sea's there, you're floating nice and calmly externally to everyone, but underneath you're like pedaling like mad. You know what I mean? I probably had a few of them times, mate. In fairness, but
the reason I brought that up is because I don't know why. I just felt. And I was like, how did you feel in that situation with everyone else around? Because you can't go and go, by the way, we've just gone under, team. We was relying on that money next month. That's going to pay all you guys. How do you deal with that situation? Did you just tell them that way, or did you just go, right, shareholders together, we've got a bit of a scenario, what do we do?
Probably a mixture between the two. But I've always been the type of guy that wears my heart on my sleeve, and I would sooner be an open book and tell people and talk to them, because it's like a bit cliche, but a problem shared is a problem halved. And I used to tell them, because I didn't want the great jungle drums going and then putting two tours together and coming up with 8. If we talked to them and said, look, this is what's happening, it is uncomfortable, but this is what we're doing to mitigate it, guys. But as shareholders, we'd have sat there and talked about the mitigating bit. I think it's rolling with the punches, guys, and all. You know, you are business in a straight linear line, is it? You're going to have ups and you're going to have downs, and it's how you roll with that. I think one of the most difficult things I actually had, and I come back to the exit, personally, I wanted that, and I think the other shareholders definitely wanted that as well, you know, but the hardest thing for the 3 of us was actually going and telling the staff that we'd sold. Because
I feel like you're letting them down. And
they were ours. They were, you know, we always used to say to them, this business is only as good as the people that are working for it. And we had some great people in our business, hence why we were successful. Everything was done cloak and dagger behind, because it had to be, because you couldn't let external noise go that we're selling both to the staff and your clients. But the minute we knew we'd sold them, we wanted to communicate them. You felt, at one stage, you felt like, bloody hell, I'm letting these down. Because I'm leaving. They've joined this business because they're ours. I'm selling it, and you have this wrestle that you sell it. Now, the reality on it is, because it was a lifestyle business, us exiting actually did give them more opportunities. They'd have never got it if we'd have stayed on, because it was our business. Us leaving then gave them an opportunity. But at the time, I had a real wrestle to go, I've got friends in there now. I'm doing right by me, but is that right by them?
Yeah.
Now, the reality on it is you always have to, first and foremost, a bit selfish, do what's right for you and your family, and you know, but I think that was one of the hardest, mate.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
You know,
yeah. I had a scenario with when COVID hit and everyone just pulled, all the sites shut down. And what my point is I don't feel like there's no right and wrong situation. I think you just got to go what you feel in that situation. You knew your team inside out, I knew mine out, and I did the opposite. I said, don't worry, once a door shuts, another one opens. We're multi-skilled, something will come up. I'm going to go home, I'll have a think about it, we'll come in tomorrow, and then we'll put a plan in place. But I'm more than confident we'll be fine. And I drove home, and I prayed to God on my drive, and I was like, we'd just started taking dividends out, we'd gone through that transition stage, the ops team were running, the accounts team were running, and I'd gone, oh, God, please, I'm begging you. And then a phone call happened, we need you down at night, so-and-so down at so, we need this, the COVID, all these doctors, face fit testing, and I was like, that was quick.
Yeah.
But I must have deserved it. And then ringed in and was like, we've got a plan, this is what's going to happen. And like, how did you do that? Well, I knew it was kind of happening. I always have a contingency, but I didn't.
You know,
But if I'd have gone, oh, by the way, as of next month, I'm not going to be able to afford to pay any of you, they'd have just gone, jobs listing, thinking, and I felt awful that I'd done that, but then I also glad I did. It's hard, isn't it?
What were the emotion, guys, like from knowing something had happened, you'd not told the staff? Emotion 1 there. Emotion 2, I would imagine relief.
I felt awful that I'd kind of told a white lie to protect them, but they all knew I'd have sold my house first before I'd done that. I'd have even gone in at that. I'd have sold my house and I'd have gone, right, I'll chuck everything in it. I brought you in this. It's my responsibility to think you out of it. So that was one of my plans. The emotional, that, and then I knew we were multi-skilled. I knew we could adapt to many different things. I just didn't put all my eggs into one basket. And then my other shareholders, and then that landed. And we was multi-skilled. We was able to adapt and get as of Monday morning, and we had our most profitable 6 months I've ever had in our whole business. So it was just that one risk I took, and everyone thought, oh, bonkers, but then it saved everything. Yeah. So
I think as well, though, mate, we've ran people-based businesses.
Yeah.
I think there's a dynamic to that is like it's different to fabrication or.
It's the hardest thing.
Oh, people, honestly, mate.
The managing people is the hardest. I personally found, I can only speak for myself, was the hardest thing I've ever done in business, and I ever will do in business.
Well, don't you find
especially sales?
Oh, well, yeah, I can imagine that.
The emotional roller coasters, each individual character so strong, overpowering, but without them being like that, they wouldn't be as good as. And then it's like mediating with the admin team and the accounts can be. Yeah.
But I found that in a people's business that had leadership like that, whether you're taking the pressures away from them, whether you're being open and things like that, what that drives is respect. And if they've got respect of you internally, it's dead easy to have respect outside as well, mate. And I think that's another good trait. And I think that's football again, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think just that communication was key. Something I had to work on a lot to communicate. I'd hold everything in. But a strong salesperson with an admin person that just wants to do 9 till 5. I'm happy with that. I want to come in, I want to do my process, my work, and I want to go home. And that's all I want in life, and I'm happy with that. Whereas someone who's sales driven, I want money, I'm operate off money, I want blah, 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 blah. And understanding, explaining to them, without this individual, you are not as good, or you're not going to be able to hit them volumes. So you need to support this individual as much as you can. And you need to adapt to them.
Yeah.
I get that now, guys. Because you're shooting, the hand that's feeding you.
And they're biting into you then, though, mate.
Yeah.
Emotionally again.
Yeah. Oh, super. A bit of a leadership question.
Go for it.
What's the biggest difference between being a performer in a team and leading one in business? So in football and in business.
So from a business point of view, you do have to be that inspiration, don't you? You have to be the one that everyone buys collectively into. This is the way we're going. This is how we're going to do it. And yet it's going to be a success. I think when it comes to football, to some extent, you can be a bit like, well, I've done my job. I've done what I needed to do.
Done my individual battle.
I've won my battle, but we've lost 3-0 because fullbacks turned off. You don't have that in business, do you? You know, it's like, I think football's one of them, isn't it, that it's not binary in terms of you can play a game, you can lose a game, but you very quickly can bounce back because you've got a game either on the Tuesday night or the Saturday. In business, you make a bad decision, you lose a client. I think we said earlier, it could take you 2, 3, 6 months to recover a new client to replace it. So I think you have to be.
Did you find yourself in meetings almost giving a team talk? Like a football-related manager team talk, and pulling a manager. I've just sounded like Kevin Fogg then. I've done that.
You probably do, mate. In fairness, you do, and it's like you have to be able to hold court, don't you? No matter what scenario you're in, and probably you do. And I think one thing that you do, and this is definitely something that come from football, you'll have people that you put an arm around. You have people that you have to fire 7 bells into. You have people that you step back, or you have people that you say to assistant manager, go and have a chat with him, because if I do, I'm going to lose my head, and I know that's not what he needs. So there is a lot of traits and a lot of similarities, definitely. But you just couldn't repeat it in a footballing term, could you?
No.
You'd have HR all over like
effing.
Yeah.
Mega. What advice would you give to a young footballer right now who thinks they've got time? So what I mean by that is, obviously, you would have never have thought about business. It was just football. I'll worry about that after.
So for me, I come back to my old man, where he was saying, like, look, get your son an education, can you send that platform to do it? And I think the reality on it is, guys, I don't think you do have time. I look at the kids now that are playing, they're one bad tackle away from ending it, aren't they? You know, in terms of, they could be on a great trajectory, but if that then happens and you go, well, that's been cut short, there's no insurance policy that says, well, we're going to achieve this and we're going to get to this. It's done, it's stopped there and then. So I think just set yourself up with always have a plan B, you know, and you've got to be careful because you don't want to take someone's dreams away from them, do you? You know, you've got to dream big and you've got to want to have that, and you want kids that are coming through to go, yeah, no, I am going to be professional. I'm going to go and play for Arsenal, Man City, whatever. But actually just be being prepared and go, well, but I am going to do this in my own time, and don't think it's a negative that you are doing it. You know, set yourself up so you've always got plan A and plan B. It's tough, isn't it? Because at that age, at 18, 19, 20, are you really mature enough to make that decision? You're not. You're just thinking about your next game or your next pair of boots. Or
yeah, and I think it's something the football industry, I think if they can keep making it a mandatory so clubs adapt and go, you must be doing a course alongside of it, almost, I think it's almost like a government decision. It must, and I think it would help. Instead of looking at it as a negative and a distraction, it's actually it's giving me a chance to come away and being able to adapt out of one thing into another and almost relax yourself and probably take that pressure off yourself of going, well, actually, if I don't make it, I mean, the lads who know, oh, I'm making it, and it's hard, like you say, to think that mindset of, if I do come out of that mindset, am I going to be as good? But I think if you can settle that, get that balance right of going, well, actually, I'm doing this course, engineering course, or whatever it is at the side, I know I'm going to be all right. And it's like almost like the second business for you. You're financially fine now. That feeling is completely different to, because you know you're going to be all right. And it probably elects you to enjoy, express, think a bit more outside the box, relax a bit more, take a bit more of a risk type of thing. Do you know what I mean?
I do, and it's clarity, mate, innit? And I think for these young lads that are going through it now, or even somebody that has probably got a pro at Chesterfield or wherever, you kind of want them to sit there and go, it's not a chink in the armour looking for plan B. It's like us in business. If we only worked for one client, we've just said it's suicide, innit? You need multiple. It's kind of like a footballer at one club. You're only one contract away, aren't you, from going, well, I need to explore my options.
Yeah.
So I think it's not a chink in the armour having something for when, because it is a short career, mate. You know better than anybody, don't you? Do you know what I mean? It's not like very few players that can play up to 38, 39, 40. You know, you could be on your way down at 30, couldn't you? And I never even got to that stage, but I think if you had this plan B, you wouldn't be playing with the fear going, it could end tomorrow, because you're going, if it does end tomorrow, I've got plan B.
And you look at it, a footballer is like a skilled trade. You're like a joiner being hired, a plumber being hired to fill in at this position, but all of a sudden, a cheaper plumber's come along who's faster, more effective, you're gone.
Yeah.
And then you've got to go and try and find another site, another club to work on. So,
and it's tough, guys, isn't it? Because I can only talk, I never made it to that place. Do you know what I mean? I fell short. So I can only talk about it. I was young enough to go, I can bounce here, I can roll with the punches and go and get something sorted. Being 25, 26 and then having that, God, respect to anybody that then goes off and does whatever, because you are an adult then, aren't you? You know, you're thinking about buying houses or you're in relationships and stuff. At 18, you've got not a care in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I thought my world had ended at 25, 26 when the hip had gone, and then all of a sudden I'm stopped. The finances stopped coming in and you live to your expectations. I look back now and think I'm grateful, because I thought I was just young enough to start a new kind of career, as well as doing part-time, having a revenue stream coming in to start a business. But imagine being at 35, which is the usual age, 30 to 35. It's going to be difficult to go into a world of sales, because I always find sales as an age kind of thing. And then what do you do at 35 to start a career, and then you're going to get it into it where you're starting to get your flow, and then you're coming towards retirement.
For you though, mate, I look back at your scenario. Yours is probably the most, you talk about that suffer. If somebody had taken it away from you because it were an opinion and you could have gone elsewhere, that's one thing. When your body lets you down through injury, fucking your mindset's got to be strong then, mate, hasn't it? Because it's like, it's not somebody else's decision, it's nobody's decision other than your body can't, it's the demands, innit? And that's tough, mate, innit? Because
it is, because they're like, my pension was 35, and then they said, right, and I can remember to this day I sat down and you signed off from the PFA, and it said, that's it, you're done. Doctors signed everything off. You can no longer
come back into the game.
Come back into full-time football. You're done. And it's like someone's just gone, right.
This is what you're dreaming.
There you go, there's your what. Right, best of luck.
Yeah.
It was almost impossible. It was, but...
it's finding the replacement drug and all, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, and then again, it's like that awareness now. That's why I want to put so much of this out there for other people, because it's not the end of the world. I thought it was the end of the world, but because I didn't have the awareness and of the outside of what's outside of football, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I look back now thinking, could you imagine if I was 35?
Yeah.
Like, what would I have done? Like, where would I be?
Yeah.
So
Tough, mate, isn't it?
very
Tough.
Yeah. Closing question. What separates people who build success from those who actually sustain it?
I think in any walk of life, guys, it's consistency, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's such an underestimated word, isn't it?
Yeah, just be level. I think I said before about you have highs and lows, don't it? But you need to level them off. Just be consistent. And if I can be a little bit better tomorrow than I am today, I've made strides.
Especially in the world you was with construction in it. New jobs coming in, new jobs coming in, new jobs coming in. You've got a program to stay to, budgets to stay to, getting people into it's like that level of consistency is key for your clients.
Oh, it is, mate. And it's tough. I mean, construction is one of the hardest industries because in a recession, it's the first to be hit and the last to recover. So it can be challenging, and then it's like a race to the bottom where everybody's undercutting people. You know what I mean? When COVID come, contractors are coming in and they're buying work just to go, I want to keep the lads going.
I want to keep my lads going, yeah.
But then it's the repercussions of that. And you know, we purposely made some strategic decisions, actually, where we said, we're going to go into FM. Because facilities management, you're always managing your portfolio, your stock. It never goes ups and downs because it's consistent. I've got it for a 10-year contract and I need to maintain it for 10 years. Whereas construction, I built the shard, I'm done after I've built that. What's next? So, you know.
Super, thanks ever so much for your time, mate. Appreciate you giving it up for us and everyone else. Top man. Thank you, mate.
Good man.
Appreciate it.
Cheers, buddy.
So thank you ever so much for listening in. And if you want more of these videos, please subscribe because the awareness is so important and I trust it's going to help you massively or someone you know. So please share it on and I hope you enjoyed.